So yesterday video was about not assuming that basically your interviewer is a great listener. So what I was saying there was that aside from preparing your stories for the interview and your best experiences, also ensure that you prepare some qualities, some core strengths that you would want to sell throughout your interview. Like whenever you get a question asked, you would ensure that you would have also your qualities, those special qualities, even with keywords if you want, exemplified, just to ensure they really get it. But what happens if they don't ask you questions that would imply talking about your strength or talking about some highlight in your career? Because I hear this a lot, that many people say, hey Dan, I believe that the interview went completely the opposite direction of how I was expecting. They didn't touch upon any of my successes or any of my core things I want to talk about to basically sell myself on. So what can you do in this scenario? And in my opinion, this is actually a very particular case that you must can basically make the hire or no hire decision, or a pass or no pass in the case of a phone interview. And that is, in my opinion, if you feel like they are not talking about, you are not putting yourself in the best possible spot, you should drive the conversation your way. So, for example, if I would have to apply, let's say, at Amazon for an HR role of, digital HR if you want. And I believe that my core strength is persuasiveness, right? They would never ask me about persuasiveness, so probably they would ask me questions that totally, what's my experience with working with corporate and so on and so forth. And if I cannot sell this to them, I would actually give them an answer, be very polite to them, give them the answer to the question they got me asked. And I believe there's one very interesting thing about me that you might want to know. That is, I believe the core strength, for this role is to be persuasive, and I think I'm really good at this. So aside, from the experience that you asked me about, I believe also persuasiveness is something that I'm really good at, and I certainly have examples that I can share with you in this regard. So notice here, after being polite, being professional in a conversation, giving the answer to the question you're getting asked, but still you would go with the thing that you want to sell yourself on. That's one thing, that you really believe can make the difference in a job interview. And I strongly believe this is very important that you do, because let's be clear here. If you don't do it, you're likely going to regret this later on. You would say, hey, yes, I had this interview with my dream company, but I didn't even manage to talk about what was really interesting about myself. So I would very much recommend you to prepare strategies for you to insert the information that you believe is the most likely to your advantage in the conversation itself, be it a phone interview or an on-site interview, because it's not as straightforward to pitch it this way, right? Because it's the heat of the moment. You have your answers prepared. You have to be particularly careful of making sense throughout the interview. You must spend a couple of brain cycles to think of stories for whatever question you're getting asked. Maybe you're also going through technical assignments. So it's going to be a very crowded space during that time. But if you know that you want to sell something which they haven't asked you for, I would very much encourage you to go full on and add it either to a question, or there are various ways to do this. Probably the most dangerous of all would be at the end of the interview when they ask you for questions for them. You would want to frame yourself, hey, I believe I'm a very extremely persuasive person. I believe this is a core competence for this role. What do you think of persuasiveness at, Amazon or within for this role? Is this a core strength of this, right? So this is another way that I would showcase persuasiveness, right? So it doesn't have to be only a quality of mine, a persuasiveness. It could be that one thing, I have a YouTube channel with, thousands of followers. If you want to say it, ensure that you will say it throughout the interview, even if you're not asked. But the thing is, and the main thing of this video is that you want to prepare this in advance on how you pitch this in the event that you will have to really talk about it without getting asked. So there you go. I hope you found this information useful, and thank you very much for watching.